Okay, I have an interesting question. So some people, and anytime they get in an intense situation or an uncomfortable situation with someone else, they start to get nervous. They start to sweat and, not want to go into that conversation. They just back off. And some people actually just get hyped up even more, and then you just get more and more into it. And they're not worried about, like your feelings or like what's going to happen. They're not worried about the outcome. They just become like one-dimensional and just go head on. So what's happening here with that kind of thing?
Well, with this, the basis feature, what you're talking about is the fight or flight system that works on all of us, and we're all equipped with this kind of system. So what happens in this situation, let's say something happens to you and it's threatening, you see it as fearful or it's dangerous to you. So right away what happens in the brain is something turns on, and it's the fear system of the brain. And that's connected directly to something called your amygdala. And the amygdala is the fear center of the brain. What that does, it kind of like hijacks your attention right away. So it grabs it. It says, oh my God, there's something outside and it's about to hurt me. So what that does, that part of your brain is connected to something called the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus is actually the automatic system of your whole body. It controls your heart rate, your sugar level, your intensity of your muscles, when you sweat. It controls all the automatic system. So from there, what does that do? It actually turns on that side of you. And now your heartbeat is racing, you're breathing really heavy, blood sugar, your blood sugar is kind of really intensified because it dumps that into your bloodstream. Your hands, your palms are sweating. Some of us, we start tripping on our own words, we can't even talk. So that's what that does. And does that, the more you perceive the danger, the more that's gonna kind of shock your system. Okay. So people, go ahead.
Well, sometimes though it's not necessarily a dangerous situation. Sometimes it's like you're getting up in front of a crowd. So, but you still get those kind of reactions.
This is the same system. Actually, let's say you're about to give a speech, and it's the same system that turns on. And some of us, we perceive that as dangerous. Why? Because when we're about to give a speech, our competence is on the line. Meaning my own intelligence is on the line. So that's fearful to me because I want to protect my own personality. So what happens here is that's perceived as danger. So it turns on the same system. Now it's very interesting. There's something called, it's a theory, and it's by Joseph Ledoux, and he has something called the low road and the high road. And what that does is it goes from the amygdala to the hypothalamus, which turns this on. But that fear center of the brain has to get some kind of validation. And what that goes to is the neocortex, which is the decision-making, your conscious level. All that is automatic. The first part, the low road, is all automatic from the amygdala to the hypothalamus. But what's conscious, when the neocortex in the front side of the brain actually gets involved, so that low part of the brain has to get validation, meaning it has to get permission. It will literally ask you, is this dangerous? Depending on what you tell yourself at that moment, yes or no, will either turn on the system further or turn it off and calm you down. So let's say you're walking up and you're about to go on stage and your heartbeat is racing. Understand that's normal. It's actually healthy because your body is getting you ready. Okay, there's something intense. So that's normal, it's okay. If my hands are sweating, my knees are shaking, it's okay. What you tell yourself in the next following moments will determine how you're going to do when you start presenting your lecture or your presentation or whatever you're doing. That will be determined by the next few thoughts. So now, if you tell yourself, I'm going to be okay, this is normal, and I'm fine, it will actually shut down the system. If you don't, this is what will happen. You'll actually turn on the system further because you're telling it, oh my God, there is dangerous things out here. I'm in danger. Dump more hormones into my bloodstream, and now you cannot even control yourself anymore. And you start hesitating even further because your biology now is taking over on its own. So if you're about to go up and give a speech, tell yourself, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be fine. It's just my body reacting to the situation, and you'll be completely fine.